Hey everybody, it's Steve, and I'm back this week to do another video about my favorite NFT game, and that's Splinterlands. And I do one of these weekly videos, I share it a lot of places, and I give away some DEC. Now, I talked about the 1000 DEC giveaway in the video, but forgot to put it in the post. So guess what? Only a few people put comments on the post, so we're getting a 1 in 5 chance to win right now. So let's pick a winner. And this time I'll make sure to put in the post that you can win too. And it is, I don't know how to say what, Unit QM. I'm not sure I fully understand that name, but that's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and send this player some DEC really quick. If you don't play the game, I'll still send it to you on Hive Engine. Those are the two places I'll send my payout, so you don't have. I have to select the 1000 DEC, right? Let's see. As long as you are a player, though, I'll directly transfer it to your wallet in the game. So there we go. That was sent. It'll take a moment. It updates instantly here. And if we go to balance history, there you go. So I do pay out. I do this every week. So go ahead and just watch the video. I like you to just put some kind of feedback on what I talk about in the comments, and then I include you in the drawing. Anything else, I might not include you. You know, I get to pick. So today I'm going to be covering two things. So this user who won, which is kind of cool, actually gave me an idea to take a look at the report card offered by one of the other players of the game that recaps how you do in a season. And he wanted to kind of get an idea of what it is and what it breaks down and what it can show you. And there is some posts, and I'll put a link to it where he goes over it himself. But I figured I'd go ahead and take a look at my report card and kind of tell you what kind of information I get from it, and just give you an idea of what you can kind of look at it to see and learn from. Now, full transparency, I've talked about this before. I let a bot play my account because I'm just looking to grind out a little bit more DEC in a season. I actually need to do some investigation about if that is effective or not, because there is an argument to be made that if I just play a little bit and always collect at 90%, as opposed to grinding myself down with the bot into the 50-40% range like I do, I don't know if I truly make more, but I think I do. If you have any information on that, you can put that in a comment. So we're going to look at that. But first, we're going to take a look at the changes to tournaments, because one of my past videos that I did was talking about how tournaments are here and not enough people are using them to truly make money off of the game. And they did a big change to it. And I'll have a link to this post so you can come and check out the whole post, because I'm going to just talk about one point that I think is really important to those of you who watch this, who are newer players to the game, because they've done something to make it much help you out with an ability to maybe win some DEC from these tournaments, because they're going to keep players like me from playing in them. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment, because our risk to reward, it's just not there anymore when you also include the time, at least in my opinion. And I'll tell you one little piece that I'm a little disappointed with in here for a player like me, but I'll go ahead and go over that as we go look at the tournaments. So the big part I want to go over today, they have a part that goes over when the tournaments will be. This is always good to see. They talk about how they get the money, how they get the payouts, the entry fees, and things like that. But this is one of the big things that's going to be changing that we're going to focus on, is the entry fees and the way that they're working. So I'm going to go to the tournament tab because I can show you this in example as opposed to trying to read it off of the post. Hi, everybody. I'm going to pick this back up. I got a little off topic, so I'm re-editing this. I'm not the best editor, so you might see a big cut there, but I went way too much into my complaint. My basic complaint, I'll get into really quick, is they took away the chance for players who don't have all the legendary cards to compete in a fair tournament unless you are in the lower levels. So you can't compete in any tournaments with no legendaries. So if we go to the rule sets and look at no legendary cards, they only play those in bronze and novice. And now the big change they made to help all of the new bronze and novice players, and I don't mind this at all, is if I wanted to play in these tournaments, it cost me 1,000 DEC to enter. It's only going to cost you 10 DEC to enter. And if you look at the prize payouts, I can only win 1,000, so I'm not going to compete in this. So you're not going to have to compete with players like me who are in the Diamond League. You're only going to have to compete against players who are in the Bronze League and the Novice League. The little, bit of a complaint to that is sometimes the big tournaments are in Bronze or Novice to make them fair for everybody, like the Gala Games tournament. And if we don't have the ability to play in those because they're not worth our time, unless we just want to spend 1,000 DEC just for the fun of getting some practice, which I guess we can do if we're some of the bigger players, but we can't expect to win any rewards from playing in those other than our game experience and maybe getting better at playing for the tournaments when they're in the champions. Then if you go ahead and look at the Diamond League, so I can still enter a lot of these for the 10 DEC, but since none of these are no legendaries and some of them are gold card events, it really limits what I can compete in and be able to compete. And so this is a pretty big change to the system. It does benefit players who are stuck in a league, and it disadvantages players who have leveled up cards that allow them to make it to the further leagues, but maybe don't have every card in the game to be able to compete in the tournaments at those leagues. From their point of view, this change overall to me is great, because they are going to be able to change a lot of things. I don't know why that won't go away. Little bug on the screen here. Go ahead and do a refresh. But the idea is of any card game is, make you buy the cards, make you want to have the full collection. And this is just another way to do it, because now I can no longer slum around winning DEC, playing in Bronze and Silver and Bronze, Silver, and Novice. And given I understand why maybe I shouldn't have been doing that, and they don't want a player like me who has a decent collection to go and play in those. But I was always tempted to, because I haven't spent the money to have all the legendary cards at maximum level. I've spent the money to have a lot of them, but not all of them. And so sometimes I just run into a game I can't win. And so I didn't really like playing in Diamond all that much. I still do it. I just don't do as well as when I come and I take away the advantage of anybody having a card that I don't have. So I'll have to work on my own deck and try to figure that out. But for you new players, to the point, you get to come, and if you are an actual novice player, you can pay 10 DEC, then you can win 1,400. Any of these placements are going to be great. And as you can see, after this change, it won't be that hard for you to necessarily win, because there's going to be less players. And there'll be even less players once everybody figures this out. This is new. Some people might not realize that. Some people might have bots playing their account that can enter a tournament, and they just go ahead and we're letting them enter it because it was only 10 DEC and now it's 1,000. So we have to go ahead and just wait a few weeks. Also, Splinterlands is asking for feedback on this. If someone like me who goes like, I don't like this because it makes it harder for me to compete, they might change it a little. They might do something else. But this does set it up so that new players have a better chance of winning the tournaments for the new players. That would be anything in the Novice League. So see, all of these, I won't play in them now. And as you see, only around 100 people, and they pay out the top 60. And then Bronze League, same thing. These ones would all, except for this one, the Bronze League Gold, but I don't have enough gold cards to play that. They price us out of these as well. And then if we go to Silver, now remember, I'm a player who's in Diamond currently. So when I make it up to champion in a few weeks, because the season just reset, I think this gets even worse. So some of the Diamond stuff, the way that they're calculating it, I can still enter them and play them. So that's pretty cool. It looks like, well, those are 10. Oh, it's only the gold card ones. All the rest of them are still kind of priced up or increased. Let's see, does this one So this one might be doable. I'd still have to place top 16th. That is still there. What a little buggy thing that happened. All right. We're done with the Splinterlands tab for now because we're done talking about tournaments. Now we're going to get to the part of the video where I talk about the report card. So I want to thank the Splinterlands community and the what is his name? I wish I was better at pronouncing this. It's Kiokizz. Kiokiz. I don't know what he goes by, but he put together this report card. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to bring mine up and I'm going to go ahead and go over with you what it looks like. So I had some issues getting it to run on Chrome, so I went ahead and ran it on Brave. I like using Brave for more things, but I still use Chrome for a decent amount of things. So if we go ahead and we look at the Splinterlands report card, this is my match for last time. So it does say my highest rating. So I only made it up to 4492 this last season, which is Champion 2. Or no, that was my rating at the end of the season. My highest rating. So it'll tell you how close you got to making it to the next level. It goes over your total ratings movements in the game. That's kind of interesting to imagine that I passed up 13,000 players. It does do your win, loss, draw ratio. So I lose more than I win. To me, that being able to see that, I like that because as somebody that uses a bot, that worries me a little bit that I lose more than I win when the bot plays. But when I play, because I play my tournaments, I never let the bot play the tournaments, I win more than I lose. So see, if I could play, I might be able to win more. My best win was versus my buddy Shu, which is kind of funny. So it does show you the highest best player that you've beat. So if you beat somebody that was really high in the game, you didn't realize it, the report card would show you. It also breaks down, and this is pretty cool, how often you use each of your summoners. And this is going to vary a lot from player to player because not all of us have all the summoners. Like I don't have any of the beta legendary summoners at a high level. I don't even have any of them because I traded them away to get the Untamed 7 cost summoners because I only had like 1 or 2. And I wasn't going to buy 11 of them. So I went ahead and traded 2 of them to get 3 or 4 like Yoden Zaku's. I think that was the right move for the time. And I'll just have to fork out all that money for the beta legendaries. And unfortunately, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. So I'm not rolling in the dough right now. And my altcoins are getting wrecked. I do have a little bit of Bitcoin sitting around somewhere. So overall, my portfolio is okay. But woo, Bitcoin. I just had to throw that out there really quick because I know a lot of people are probably like, man, you're doing a video about Splinterlands while Bitcoin's passing 30,000. But let's get back to this. So as you can see, I use Mimosa a lot. I use Selena a whole lot. Daria, I use a lot, which is kind of crazy because that's a reward summoner. And the other thing you can see is your win rate. So Yoden is not my highest win rate. Zintar actually is, which would probably surprise. Oh, and yeah, see the death summoners are up here. And the Wizard of Eastwood I win a lot with. This one, this is kind of slanted. I'm not going to count. The Wizard of Eastwood is just a dominant card in the Untamed set because the green team and the fire team are the 2 best teams in Untamed without a doubt at the lower levels, with maybe the life team in third place there. But so you're going to use the Wizard of Eastwood a whole lot because anytime the mana's high, the 2 8-cost cards in that Untamed set are just so dominant that you're going to use the Wizard of Eastwood unless you have the Thorns Wizard. So I just now got him to level 4, so I'll start to use him more in the silver tournaments, but I don't even know if I'll be playing in silver tournaments anymore. So there's that. There is the monster usage. If you have a chicken's probably going to be level 1 for everyone. But it will give you an idea of what cards you are playing a lot. Now, how you could use both of these things is you could look into like let's say my Aldrich, like I win with Aldrich not very often. So maybe I shouldn't be picking him as often as I do because I'm not as good. Or maybe I need to level up some cards on that team and do a little bit better. Maybe I should be playing Zintar more than I actually do because look, I win 50% of the time. all of these win rates should be decently high if you're a good player. So if any of them are pretty bad, you're probably making a mistake, or you're getting stuck on a quest that is for a team that you're pretty weak on. Like, I know my life team is my weakest, so this is I know that's because when I get a life quest and I have to keep using life to go do the quest. It's funny, I usually have to shut down the bot because my life team's so weak, the bot like ignores it. So I go and play it, and when I'm trying to play in Diamond or Champion and I don't have the best cards on my life team, I just get slaughtered. Malric, he doesn't get used very much, only 30 games because I only have him at level 7. I don't even have him at level 8, so I use him probably the least amount, but only if I have to. If like there's a match where you have to play fire and I can't use Jotun because it's like 14 mana, so you're like, oh, I gotta go ahead and try Malric. That happens sometimes. Then it gets to your monster usage. This is kind of interesting because you might not realize how often you use certain cards. And so you can come here and kind of play and figure out like, man, which cards do you really, really use a lot? Because maybe if you haven't maxed them out, you should go ahead and look into maxing it out. And for a player like me who's using the bot, I can kind of see what card the bot likes to use and whether or not I need to maybe level a card up because I don't have a good enough one there. It also shows you win rates on cards. So like the Mana Core here sitting here at 55%. You also got the Phantom Soldier sitting here at 57%. But my top cards that I use are only in the 40s. So that's kind of interesting. It's also pretty interesting, like my Spark Pixies, I know are kind of low level, but because they're a 2-cost card, they seem to be getting onto the board all of the time. So see, you can go in here and you can kind of look at how your cards are being used, how often you're using them, if you're winning when you use them. If you can see cards down here that like apparently when you do use the Failed Summoner, you can win a lot of the time. That's interesting. Living Lava, when he can be played, he wins a lot because when you're playing him, it's probably because you're playing low-level Untamed in a tournament, and he is dominant in lower mana for that. That's why I said the fire team is so good. The next part goes to rules by win set. This is kind of interesting because if you think you're really good at a certain rule set, or there's a certain rule set that you just think you hate, this would prove it, right? So reverse speed I ran into a lot, and I did not win that often. Now, all of these kind of stats for me, because I let the bot play, okay, I can maybe do some feedback to them that, hey, the bot's not so good at heavy hitters and reverse speed. It's also not that good at Earthquake, but all of those game sets are kind of interesting because without knowing the team, you don't know if there was really good setups. Obviously, my cards did much better in Fog of War, in Silent Summoners. It did pretty good in Unprotected, so no armor makes sense. There's a lot of good stuff in here for you to go. Now, here's one of the parts that gets kind of interesting for anybody that's looking on a return on investment. So I'll try to get to this stuff pretty quick because the video is getting a little bit longer. So the rewards report gives you a breakdown of how many of each card you got and the DEC value of those cards if you were to burn them. So last season I got 76 commons from my rewards chest. I got 22 rares, 3 epics. I did get 1 legendary. It was the life legendary that's an 8 cost. And I got a total of 102 cards worth 3,000 DEC. Gold foil cards, I got 2 commons, 1 rare, no epics or legendaries. I did get a total of 3 gold. So the gold cards, just the gold cards I got in DEC value, beat out all of the other cards. That's why the gold cards are just so good to get. Now, one of the things I want to go over as well is the loot chest. So this is going to be, oh, wait a minute. Standard foils. Oh yeah, that just breaks them down by cards. So the loot chest, they're going to include your potions. So for your daily request and then for your season, so 60 and 47, it's going to give you the DEC that you pulled out of the chest, and it's going to give you how many packs you got. I always open my packs, so unfortunately they're hardly ever worth this, but I did get who did I pull? I got a Yodin that I sold for like $30 not too long ago out of one of my packs. So that was pretty cool. And then they go to your captured DEC. Ranked plays, I won 325 and I earned 11,292 DEC from just playing the game. So my total earnings that they have was 31,617 DEC in a season. So to tie this all up, so I made around that's $31 in game. So right, because DEC is pegged at 1,000 to $1 in game. That's somewhere between $25 and $31 in any given season, because DEC floats from about 60% of the money to the high 60s. It's really 70 cents on the dollar to about to almost cost. So that, if I take out this 600, at certain times this would be worth $31. It's only really when the DEC has a really important, when they have a big event and it starts getting bought up, but it pretty much floats between those two ranges. So what we're going to do, sorry, my camera's a little bit off and I keep on going out of it. I just realized. So, well, just to give you an idea really quickly. So this is my account. Now this isn't really a super accurate, cost analysis. But if you looked at my cards, because this is my playable cards. So I only did my regular cards because I don't play any gold cards. I included every set because I needed every set in here because I play some alpha monsters and some beta summoners. But obviously I don't play both of these cards, right? I only would play the one that's leveled up, the alpha. I would not play these 34. So the cost here, it's a little bit off. It's really off by my beta cards, but the beta cards would not include my summoners, and those are kind of expensive cards because I play beta summoners that are maxed out for a lot of my sets. So if I take the beta out, it drops it down. So it would be this is kind of accurate probably if it includes some cards I don't play. So on around a $4,000 card investment, if you were to go and purchase all the cards on the market, in a season I got $31 worth of rewards of DEC, or even call it 25, and there's 2 seasons a month, so that's $50 a month. So I'm going to end up getting $1,200 roughly in rewards at the end of the season. So if I bring out my calculator and let's see, we'll do that again. So if I get $50 in rewards, 12 months, okay, I'm sorry, $600 a year. And if I do that on my $4,000 investment roughly to get this set of cards, it's a 15% return for playing a game. That's not terrible. That's the point I was going to get to here with that the report card lets you see is how you're doing on a return. Now, my total collection is worth a little more than the $4,000, and I am going on the lower number because that's the market price that you could try to get these cards at, and you could get them cheaper than this if you were really coming here to buy them. And if you were snipering them, your collection would be even less. Honestly, it'd probably be in the $3,000 range to get my set of cards and a team that are mine. And if you snipered it even better, you could get similar returns with probably a different team, because you don't need all the beta summoners. You can just get a few legendary summoners, a few Daria. You can really mix and match and get a return on this. But this is showing me that just playing this game, this doesn't include me posting about the game, making these videos again about the game, or anything else in the game. I am getting a healthy return on the investment of the use of my cards. So that's one of the things that I think is really cool about the report card. I'm glad that he made it, and I'm glad that it's out there. So I hope that everybody had a good day. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Again, I'm Stever82 on almost every single platform. I know that name's a little weird, but it's unique and can be found on every platform. And this video will be all over the place. Thank you, everybody. Keep playing Splinterlands and have a good day.